microphone to Harry again, and yet again, Meghan goes to take it. He holds it back and even laughs and says no, and then continues once, but twice. And it was all over the organisers not wanting her to have the microphone.
Right now, lots of speculation about what is going on with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after she decided to call in sick to a major Kevin Costner charity event on Friday night after that damning Hollywood Reporter takedown described her as a dictator.
What happens when Meghan pushes too far and Harry pulls away? You get a royal disaster that turns into pure cringe you just cannot stop watching.
Quite a shock that Meghan wasn't at the Kevin Costner event, wasn't it? It's for first responders, it's a charity thing. There were lots of A-listers there like Jeff Bridges and Rob Lowe and Pink. And you'll remember last year,
People keep buzzing about the headlines, the clothes, and the smiles, but no one is really noticing the microphone. That little mic revealed more about Harry and Meghan's relationship than any so-called royal expert or fancy palace statement ever could.
damning investigation by the Hollywood Reporter.
Well, there's lots to unpack with this. There's lots of theories obviously going around. I personally, with Meghan, we know that she's excited.
Meghan was never meant to be on that stage, and everyone could see it. Yet there she was, walking in like the spotlight belonged to her from the very start. With a wrinkled outfit, a strained smile, and that air of entitlement, she tried to grab a moment that was never truly hers.
He came on stage, and I think it was Harry was meant to give a speech because one of the female organisers walked over to Harry with the.
The audience definitely noticed. Cameras captured everything, and Harry, he barely moved a muscle. Normally, he would be right there beside her, handing her the mic and letting her steal the spotlight. But not this time. He held firm, keeping the moment for himself, leaving Meghan stranded in a strange in-between spotlight where she clearly did not belong.
And he gestured like he does to give it to Meghan. And Meghan reached for it, and the lady quickly changed her mind, took the microphone away, and pretended that she was.
It was painfully awkward. So awkward that people in the crowd were caught between clapping or just looking away in discomfort. The charm that usually follows them completely disappeared, replaced with an uneasy silence that said it all. Meghan's attempt to force her way into the moment fell flat, and everyone could see it. She was not commanding attention, she was standing out for all the wrong reasons.
Walking in the distance. And then not long after that humiliation, obviously this is on the stage, everybody's there watching it, the other organizer, a gentleman.
And still, nobody stopped her. The organizer stayed silent, and security never moved an inch. It was as if everyone simply looked the other way, letting the tension spill out right there in front of the crowd. Her forced presence shifted the entire mood, creating a scene that was uncomfortable, raw, and painfully out in the open. What made it striking was how quiet it all was. No shouting, no wild gestures, just a clash of egos, and a stage that suddenly seemed far too small for both of them. That unplanned entrance spoke volumes about the dynamic at play, and yet the press barely gave it any attention.
A damning article has come out from the Hollywood Reporter with reportedly 12 people willing and waiting to back it up. So they've made sure that they have
The second Meghan stepped onto that stage, everything shifted. And not in some grand, romantic, my queen has arrived moment either. No, it was quieter, heavier, and far more uncomfortable. The atmosphere turned, and people could sense it all the way from the back rows. Harry, usually so warm and attentive, suddenly looked rigid. The easy charm that normally surrounds him was gone in an instant. That little public smile everyone expects completely vanished. He clutched the mic tightly, speaking and holding the spotlight for himself, while Meghan struggled to carve out a place that was never meant for her.
Significant that she decided not to do that.
Yes, there certainly seems to be, I would say, trouble ahead, I think, for the couple.
Her attempts to engage came off as forced. She smiled, she stepped forward, and she tried to grab the audience's attention, but nothing landed. The crowd didn't react the way they normally do, and while the cameras kept rolling, the magic was nowhere to be found. Instead, the air was filled with tension, awkward pauses, and a quiet hum of confusion. It wasn't loud, it wasn't explosive, but it was impossible to ignore.
Together, they seem to be doing more and more things completely separate of each other. But I've noticed a real shift. It seems that Harry is the one being elevated. It's Harry being asked to go to events and not Meghan. She is still obviously.
It was a shift that spoke volumes about their relationship, even if most people didn't catch it. Harry's body language told its own story: control, restraint, and clear frustration. Meghan's moves painted a different picture altogether: desire, insistence, and just a touch of desperation. The real energy wasn't in their words at all. It was in the way they carried themselves, or maybe in the silences where presence was missing.
That Harry's almost being elevated and Meghan is being pushed into the background. Now, I can't see her taking that.
That day, the spotlight didn't glow on them as a couple. It split unevenly, exposing cracks no polished appearance could ever cover. The energy on that stage told a story the press refused to touch, and it was louder than any headline could be. Two people who once seemed perfectly in sync were suddenly out of rhythm. And that jarring dissonance, it left the entire audience stunned, even if they couldn't fully explain why.
In terms of her Hollywood career, because as you say, yes, we believe she is still represented by WME, but for how much longer? Because she didn't show up to the Emmy party that they hosted, and that's a really significant moment in the Hollywood.
While all the tension was unfolding on stage, a smaller but shocking detail nearly slipped past unnoticed. Ukraine, yes, the government of Ukraine officially addressed Harry as His Royal Highness in their correspondence. Just think about that for a second. The very title that was supposed to be stripped away, the same status the palace swore he no longer had, suddenly recognized on an official stage. No correction came, no pushback followed, not a single public word to set the record straight, just silence. And that silence was deafening.
Hollywood Reporter thing very seriously, but I think she is, and I will come to that momentarily. But first, it wasn't a particularly good night, I have to say, for Harry either at the...
It was no accident. Protocols are never random, especially in politics and diplomacy, where every word, every title, and every single gesture carries weight. That quiet nod from Ukraine spoke louder about Harry's lingering royal ties than any flashy headline ever could. It revealed a complicated truth. He may have stepped away from the life of a royal, but he has never truly left it behind.
Firstly, there was an awkward moment where he was mistaken for Prince William. Now, this was by the wife of Richard Marx, who ended up tagging.
Meanwhile, back on that stage, Meghan was visibly struggling to assert herself. The mic, the crowd, and the uneasy pauses all stood in sharp contrast to the invisible power still clinging to Harry's name. One hand held onto the spotlight, while the other stayed bound to the crushing weight of centuries-old tradition.
Sums up just how far Harry has fallen. He now has to hang around backstage, waiting for no-mark pop stars to shake their hand, even though they're not introduced, and desperately be called Prince.
The contrast was impossible to miss. On one side, you had the very human drama of a couple out of sync under the world's gaze. On the other, the unspoken reminder that Harry, even while trying to carve out his own path, remains tangled in the grip of royal duty and endless expectations. And that's the part most people overlook. The stage drama is loud, flashy, and impossible to ignore, but the quiet pull of protocol, that invisible force keeps shaping Harry's every move, whether he sees it or not.
Hold on, Richard.
Harry is trapped in a tug-of-war between two worlds. One foot stands in California, surrounded by the sunny life he's tried to build, the podcast, the polo matches, the promise of freedom without cameras chasing his every step. The other foot remains planted in the centuries of royal expectation, strict protocol, and invisible duties he can never truly walk away from.
Harry left the royal family. He just wanted to be known as Harry, didn't he? He just wanted to be Jack the lad. But back is that princely title, even though he hates everything to do with the...
Every gesture, every choice, every public appearance is part of a delicate negotiation. The way Harry travels, the company that surrounds him, and the events he shows up to are constant reminders that he's never truly free of it all. Palace aides, not close friends or private staff, are the ones who walk beside him on trips. His official titles are still acknowledged, and those small, almost hidden cues end up speaking louder than any words ever could.
Miller, who was actually at the event, posted saying, "I was at Kevin Costner's event last night, actually held at his backyard. I took this photo of Harry without his wife when he was introduced. He did not get a..."
On stage, the tension was impossible to miss. The mic, the long pauses, the uneasy glances, it felt like more than a performance. It was the picture of a man divided in two. One side longs to live freely, unbound by history, while the other side cannot escape the heavy pull of legacy, duty, and worldwide expectation. Watching it play out is exhausting, not in the sense of too many flights or busy schedules, but in the way someone looks worn down from carrying an invisible weight. Harry's charm, his spark, his confidence, they all feel measured now, carefully restrained. He is a man caught between two worlds, neither fully comfortable and neither completely his own.
So certainly their stock has significantly fallen, even locally now.
Oh, it's absolutely plummeted. I think they're at ground zero. I mean, especially Meghan.
And while Meghan pushes to claim space, grab control, and pull the spotlight toward herself, Harry is left balancing the tightrope between old obligations and new ambitions. The tension isn't loud, but it's written all over them, and anyone paying attention can see it. Harry seems stuck in a strange limbo, one no fairy tale ending or Hollywood dream could ever fix. Meghan once commanded every frame, every lens, every conversation. Wherever she appeared, the world watched, drawn in by her presence, her style, her radiant smile. She was the one in control. She owned it completely. But now, that charm is starting to slip away.
Meghan, for, as we said, multiple reasons why she probably didn't go, licking some wounds from last year.
The Kevin Costner event proved it perfectly. Meghan wasn't on the schedule. She wasn't expected. And yet, there she was, stepping into a space that wasn't hers to take, trying to weave herself into a moment already unfolding. But the magic was missing, and the audience felt it instantly. The cameras kept rolling, but the claps never came. The charm offensive that once worked so easily now seemed strained and unnatural. Harry, on the other hand, stayed locked in, focused on the moment, almost detached from Meghan's attempts to grab the spotlight. The dynamic had clearly shifted. She was no longer moving in sync with him. Her presence felt awkward, even desperate, and the painful contrast between them was impossible to ignore.
Very, very tired of it all, but he obviously still isn't ready to give up this push for a celebrity stroke royal lifestyle. Otherwise, he wouldn't continue to go to events.
Even off stage, the shift is hard to miss. Meghan's polished smile, her perfect poses, her carefully curated image, they look less like natural confidence now and more like armor she hides behind. Every appearance, every outfit, every practice grin feels like a calculated attempt to pull back influence. But when the performance slips, people see it. It's subtle, but it's happening. The crowd isn't captivated anymore. They're unsettled, even confused. The energy that once followed Meghan everywhere has faded into something weaker, harder to hold on to. And while Harry struggles with his own tightrope walk between independence and obligation, Meghan is battling to stay relevant. The spotlight that once bent toward her now shines coldly, revealing her struggle instead.
But it is definitely a fall from grace when an 80s icon, Richard Marx, has to be told, oh, this is Prince Harry. So his ego is definitely being hit hard as well.
Not every clash explodes with broken glass or flying objects. Some battles are quieter, subtler, and far more revealing, and Meghan's latest behavior on stage was exactly that kind of silent tantrum. She stood there with a smile stretched just a little too wide, her posture stiff, every move carefully rehearsed. It didn't read as charm anymore. It looked like insistence, a demand to be noticed at all costs. The audience felt it, the cameras caught it, the people around her couldn't ignore it. The effortless magic she once commanded was gone, and the emptiness it left behind was impossible to hide.
It is. I mean, what's very interesting, Taz, is that the Hollywood Reporter article did give Harry a pass. It was basically like, oh, he's a nice guy, but he enables her.
When no one acknowledged her, when the mic stayed firmly in Harry's grip, the frustration showed on her face. It wasn't loud, but it was crystal clear. She lingered there, waiting for someone to respond, reaching for the validation that had once come so easily. But when it never came, she walked away, slowly, deliberately, as though she were stepping off a stage she was never meant to stand on in the first place.
Oh, I think you're giving him far too much credit at this early stage, Dan. I think Harry's got many more years before that actually dawns on him. I'm not even sure Harry will ever.
Backstage, witnesses say her smile vanished the second she stepped out of sight. The irritation that had been hidden behind her polished public mask finally slipped through. And Harry? Once they were in the car, it's safe to imagine the conversation turned sharp and tense. This wasn't just a fleeting moment of public awkwardness. It was a glimpse into the deeper strain pulling at their relationship.
In Botswana, he was accused by the chairman of being a bully and misogynist, of being dishonest and all the rest of it. And it did seem as if Harry's reputation had hit the dust. But he very
This quiet tantrum revealed what the glossy headlines refused to show: the cracks in the partnership, the power shifting between them, and the subtle but undeniable struggle for relevance. Meghan is fighting to seize control, while Harry is pulling back, and the world is watching every second of it. The strange part? Most of it slips by unnoticed, brushed aside, yet anyone really paying attention can see it clearly. The media once adored Harry and Meghan, but lately the coverage feels more like a chess match than true reporting. Headlines swing wildly, from glowing reconciliation pieces to dramatic leaks about tension at home, changing on a whim. That's not real journalism, that's bait. Conflict sells, and the world is hooked, watching closer than ever.
Miles and all the rest of it. Everyone says, oh, is the old Harry back? Well, it's not the old Harry back. It's a new Harry. It's the Harry that wants to have his cake and eat it. He wants to live in California.
Harry and Meghan are trapped in it, whether they like it or not. Every interview, every appearance, every smile, and every slip is twisted, analyzed, and repackaged for the world to consume. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace stays completely silent. No press releases, no clarifications, no statements. That silence is intentional. Let the fire burn itself out. Let the spectacle play on without a single royal interruption.
And that really is. He and Meghan together have done more in the last 4 or 5 years to destroy.
This strategy comes with consequences. Meghan's charm, once magnetic and effortless, is slipping away. Her smiles look forced, her entrances feel awkward, and her attempts to grab the spotlight seem calculated instead of natural. Harry, on the other hand, is no longer the carefree royal the world once cheered for. He now appears measured, cautious, and weighed down, carrying the invisible burden of expectations along with the relentless glare of public scrutiny.
Years. And I fear that this trip has done huge damage to the royal family because in the end he'll get his vengeance.
Meghan keeps pushing, but her influence is slipping away. Harry keeps resisting, yet he remains tethered to a royal world he can never fully escape. And the media, it happily feeds the illusion that their power and relevance are still untouched, even as cracks appear for anyone watching closely. This isn't just a feud or some celebrity rough patch. It's a tangled dance of perception, influence, and survival. The headlines may play along, but the real truth is quieter, subtler, and far more revealing than any glossy photo could ever show. The public may see the smiles, but behind them, the tension is unmistakable. Behind the staged moments, the awkward stares, and the strained grins, there's a quieter, more painful reality pressing down on them both. Harry and Meghan thought they could walk away, break free, and create their own kingdom. But reality has crept in, and now they're lost in a fog of contradictions and unmet expectations. Fairy tale, gone. Spotlight battles, burning brighter than ever. And the world is watching every single move,